Can the Eagles keep their unbeaten streak alive? Let's talk some Monday Night Football. Let's go. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Craig Bennett, aka Cash Cake, back with another NFL Prize Picks video, and we're going to talk some Monday Night Football. Eagles 8-0, still just chugging along, going to get the Washington Commanders tonight. I think they should easily win this game. You know, they've just been chugging on all cylinders here. Washington, I think they're just going to continue to struggle here. But hey, this video is brought to you by OddsJam.com. If you want to check out what they have to offer, the link is in the description below. I will also show you one of their screens that you can get access to a lot of their prop information as well. And we'll go over that in this video. But we'll jump right into it, and we will talk about Monday Night Football, and we will just go over basically the whole game, and I'll give you some stats, and hopefully it helps you in your research process and to make some slips of your own. So with that, let's dive right into it. All right, as you can see, we have the Prizepicks desktop up here. You can download their mobile app as well. If you do have an account, use that promo code DFSArmy. Get 100% instant deposit match up to $100. And again, we'll talk about this, and then we'll talk a little bit about OddsJam.com and kind of show you their screen. So actually, before we dive into this now, let me just show you OddsJam.com before we dive right into all the plays and kind of just show you what they're all about. All right, as you can tell up here, we have OddsJam.com pulled up, and this is their screen is what they call it. They call it their screen, and they have all the different sports you can pull up. You can pull NFL, NBA if you want access. They got the college sports, soccer with World Cup coming up, and then all the books. You can pull up any of the books that you want, so any books that you use, they will have it up here. And basically this does just pull up and show you the best odds. You can pull up here. They also have money lines, but for the prop stuff as well, if you want access to this screen and see what, and this updates in live time. So sometimes you'll sit here and you'll see the screen and the colors will change, of green or red, depending if it's going up or down. But this has the player receiving stats. I have it pulled up now. Again, you can pull up all kinds of different, say you want to play longest rush and pull this up, right? Like it'll show you this as well. Again, a lot of the books don't have this. They just got the one that has it. But you come up here. Let's go player rush attempts and see what other books have. So like Antonio Gibson right here, as you can tell, it has 9.5. They get to under. FanDuel has the best odds at -122. So it's really easy to pull this up. And it's something that if you want access to your toolbox, highly recommend it. So oddsjam.com to get access to their screen tool. Again, you can pull it up. Not just for NFL, but all these different sports that you can pull up and use it for. So really helps you out when looking at any sort of bet. So let's get back and talk about the prize picks for today. All right, prize picks today. As you notice, they just started this a couple days ago, but it's with the rush and receiving touchdowns. And basically they give you two players and you're just going over under. Generally it's just a half. So they just got to get one between them. I don't know what I feel about this with these ones that are currently up, because I could see Goddard getting in the end zone, right? I could see Smith getting in the end zone. I could see Brown. Which one is it going to be, right? Is it going to be a Brown game? Is it going to be a Goddard game? Is Devontae Smith finally going to get going? And on the other side is Brian Robinson, because you can't really pass on Philly, but you can run on them. Is Brian Robinson going to get going? Is he going to get in the end zone? I'm just going to stay away from these. I don't love these. I think on the main slates that they have, these can be very lucrative, but on these island games, I'm not sure I'm going to have too much of it. Let's first talk about passing yards here, where we got Jalen Hurts at 242.5 and Taylor Heineke at 208.5. Now, Hurts put up a monster game against Washington back on September 25th. He threw 340 yards. I don't think he's going to have to do that this year or this game. I really don't. Washington is ranked 14th in passing yards allowed at 217, 11th in rushing yards allowed, 113th. They should be able to do whatever they want to do here, honestly. So I don't think we're going to need him. He's only gone over this in one of his last 5 games. I'm sorry, 2 of his last 5 games, barely over the Houston one. And the team's going to do what they got to do, right? So it's not something I love. I don't really want to take this because I think there's risk on both sides of it. Uh, Looking at Heineke's stuff at 208.5. This line was at 215.5 when it opened, so it's been pushed down. We all know Philly's defense is great this year against the pass, only giving up 178 yards per game. Now Heineke's this year has only gone over this in once against Indy. Didn't do it against Green Bay, and then Minnesota only 149. I would lean the under on this one, even at 208.5. Again, like I said, Philly's only given up 178 yards in the air. They're only giving up, they are giving up 121 yards on the ground. So they're giving up some yards on the ground, but not so much in the air. Um, I just think yards per completion allowed is only 9.4. They should be throwing the ball from behind, but I just don't know how efficient they're going to get there. So I would lean the under on 208.5. Rushing yards here, we have Heineke at 815.5. They're going to have to flush him to get out of the pocket. He has won over this in 2 of the last 3 games, 29-17 against Indy and Minnesota, only 4 against Green Bay. So if they do get after him, he can get out in the pocket and run, and it might be a spot where he might be running for his life a little bit. So maybe this is a spot you want to take and look at the over. Jalen Hurts at 39.5. I don't know how much running he's going to have to do. I would probably lean under this just because I don't know how much duress he's going to be under. So if I was going to take this, I'd probably lean less here. And Heineke's, I'd probably lean more. Not my favorite plays, but that's where I would lean. If we looked at Jalen Hurts, he's only had to win over this in one of his last 6 games that he's played. I just don't think it's a spot where he's going to have to run too much. He could get there in one play. That's the one thing that you have to worry about Jalen Hurts is he can do it in one play. We do have no JD McKissick here. He is out, so it's going to be a lot of Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson. Like I said, you can run against Philly. Antonio Gibson has gone over this 34.5 mark in 3 of his last 5 games. I don't know how much workload we're actually going to see out of him. Against Minnesota, he did see 60% of the snaps. So that was up from previous weeks where he saw 39 and 36% of the snaps. So 34.5, maybe you want to look at that. Brian Robinson feels a little too low as well at 35.5. But again, the snap share, he's 44%. They're basically splitting it. Had less than Antonio Gibson last week, but he has gone over this in 3 of the last 4 games. So if you think he's going to get there and get after it, and they can, try to control the clock, because they're going to want to try to control the clock here. This 33.5 feels a little too low for him. So if you want to take some Brian Robinson, I don't mind that. Either one of these, again, that's their best path to victory, is controlling the clock and running it. So if we're going to see about split shares still, that's what we're probably looking at. These just feel a little bit too low. Miles Sanders at 69.5 or 68.5. He's had if good games back to back here, right? He's won over this in 4 of his last 5 games. Washington has given up 113 yards on the ground. If they get up, the problem is they can run about anyone who they want out there. They'd have no problem running some of their secondary backs, like Gainwell and Brian Scott, stuff like that, if they do get up pretty heavily. So I don't want to be super invested in Miles Sanders, so I'm just going to kind of stay away from him. Receiving yards, again, Antonio Gibson, McKissick's not being there, so he's going to be the third down back for sure, and he could be getting more work as well. However, he has only gone over this in 2 of his last 5 games. It might be a spot where they just need him to get there. But it's tough sledding, right? So I'm not sure how much I love it, but he should be the third down back here for sure. And if he's still going to see 56% of the snaps, I think I would lean over. Looking at Dotson and getting Dotson back with McLaurin, F1, I just don't really want to attack the Philly passing game. Now McLaurin's won over this in 4 of his last 5 games. He's won over this in 8 of his last 10. It's just one of those spots where, going up against Philly, he did put up 102 yards against Philly. He did do that earlier in the year on the 25th. So, it's just that the yardage feels too low, but we are talking about a really good secondary. Dotson at 22.5. If you want to look at him a little bit, that opened at 25.5. He hasn't played since the 2nd of October, but he has gone over this in 3 of the 4 games he has played this year. They should be playing from behind, right? So these feel too low. So if you're building sort of some slips where you want to build some action around some correlation, maybe you look at those a little bit. Samuel wise, I don't really know if I really want to go there. But again, he's kind of went over this as well in 4 of his last 5 games, 8 of his last 10. So these all feel too low for Washington receivers. Just which one is going to get there? I'm assuming they're going to try to slow down McLaurin. So maybe this is where Samuel and Dotson get a little bit more work. And then on the Philly side, this is where it's tough, is because, now Quez Watkins is just a deep threat. He's just a bomb. That's just waiting for the big ball. He's only, have yards in 3 games this year. So this is what you're looking for. Just one catch, big bomb. That's what he does. I wouldn't touch him. Dallas Goedert, looking at him a little bit, 46.5. He tends to always get volume. Went over this in 4 of his last 5. He's went over this in 4 of his last 5, 6 of his last 7. So I'm sorry, 6 of his last 8 games he's gone over this. No problem ever playing Dallas Goedert. He tends to get a ton of volume. 9, 6, 5, 9, 6 his last 5 games with targets wise, caught 5, 8, 2, 6, and 8 balls. So, you have to, I always tend to like taking him just for the volume that he does get. So I don't mind looking at Dallas Goedert 47.5 for him. When it comes to Devontae Smith, man, I have such a hard time. It's like, with AJ Brown coming over, you can definitely tell that is his number one target. And AJ Brown, I don't really want, because I don't know if they really need the yards unless you think it's going to be a close game. Devontae Smith just doesn't really get it either. So I'm kind of just going to stay away from him. If I was going to pick one player, it would be Dallas Goedert, just because the yards are lower and he's definitely going to get the volume over these other guys. So with Bates and Thomas, again, if you want to look at and taking, those guys, maybe they get after him, you got to get the ball out of their hands a little faster. If we look at Bates, he hasn't gone over that over the last 3 games, 0, 6, and 5. He's only playing like 30% snap share here. So I'd stay away from him. Logan Thomas on the other hand as well. Just not getting it done either. So it's really hard to trust these guys, especially with Dotson back and all these. I'm just going to stay away from it. Receptions wise, same kind of deal here. I would lean looking at Dallas Goedert over 4 just because of the volume that he does get. Devontae Smith, no thanks. AJ Brown, no thanks. Antonio Gibson, again, I don't mind this because they should be playing from behind. So I kind of like Gibson and Goddard if I was going to choose any of these action. So I don't mind throwing Goddard again up here, yards or receptions. Like I said, Antonio Gibson, I don't mind this one either if you want to lean more on that. Field goals made, Jake Elliott. If you want to look at Jake Elliott, look at some kicking action. Joey Sly and Jake Elliott they don't have any Joey Sly up there. But Jake Elliott, we're looking at field goals made. He's only made 2 field goals and once out of his last 7 games. So I don't want anything to do with that. Kicking points wise though, he's gone over this number in 2 of his last 8 games. Again, don't want to touch that one. Joey Sly, on the other hand, same kind of thing. Two games this year he's went over at 6 and 11. Before that, a lot of 5, 5, 5. So just going to stay away from that as well. Fantasy score, nothing that I absolutely love. Jalen Hurts can always put up big numbers. It's just, are they going to have to against this Washington team? That's the one concern that I have. Antonio Gibson could definitely get there at this 10 number if they play him a lot in the passing game. He gets a lot of dump offs, can do something with him. I kind of look at that a little bit, but I don't know if I really want to go there. Fantasy wise, the Eagles D, they can always get to Heineke here, 7.5 fantasy score. I don't mind looking at that. But these other guys, I don't really want to guess on Devontae Smith. I don't want to guess on AJ Brown. If they're going to have big games. So for me, it would be more of just looking at maybe Antonio Brown, just out of some volume, playing from behind, maybe something like this, but nothing that I absolutely love. Don't really anything like rushing reception yards. Maybe Brian Robinson here. Maybe you want to look at Gibson. Again, they should be splitting it here. I don't know if I really want to go that route. Pass rush receiving touchdowns. No thanks. 2.5 feels a little high for Jalen Hurts. Miles Sanders, I don't mind if you want to take a chance on him, but again, I think you're looking at more of a chance. Kind of looking at the pass attempts here, kind of digging into that a little bit. If we look at Jalen Hurts pass attempts, he hasn't gone over this but once of his last 5 games. I don't know if he's going to need the volume here either, right? If they get up heavy, he's not going to have to throw the ball a ton. If we look at Heineke a little bit, 33.5, again, he hasn't gone over this at all over the last 3 games. But again, they should be playing from behind massively in this game. Maybe this is a shot where he does have to throw 35 balls. So I would lean over on this. The juice is on the over as well at minus 125. So if I was going to take a shot, I would take a shot at the over 33.5. Pass completion, same kind of deal here. He has gone over this in one of the 3 games he has played this year, 20, 23, and 15. And then Jalen Hurts, he's gone over this in 4 of the games he's played this year. And again, don't really want to take a shot at him. Rushing attempts, Antonio Gibson sitting at 9 at this point. Again, if he's going to split the shares, he had 11 last week, 10 against Green Bay 3 weeks ago. With no, it just, are they going to be the volume running the ball? They're probably going to be playing from behind a bunch. So this opened at 9.5 and it did get pushed down to 9. I would kind of stay away, and I would kind of lean under just for the fact that I don't think they're going to be pounding the ball with Antonio Gibson if they get behind. And then sacks wise, looking at the Commanders and Eagles here, 3.5 for the Eagles, 2 for the Commanders. I wouldn't touch this one. I don't mind if you want to take a shot at the over on 3.5 sacks for the Eagles. They can get to Heineke, holds the ball a little bit. I do think that they can get to him. So that's a run over this whole board here for Monday Night Football. It always feels like we don't have this great game, either 2 bad teams or like this, a really good team and a really, mediocre bad team on Washington's side. So, hey, if you want to sign up and check out some of the stuff that we have over in our Patreon streets, you can, again, check out the Eat Plus EV tools that we do have for NFL. Kind of shows this, the number 1 Plus EV play on the board so far is Tyler Heineke rush yards under 15.5. So if you want to check out all this, what we got to offer, again, sign up in the link below. And if you want to check out everything that OddsJam has as well, you can sign up with the link below as well. So appreciate each and every one of you guys. Have a fantastic Monday, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Deuces.